Today we are going to go through my first impressions of the game Mythwind. Alright everyone, welcome back to After Evenfall, a channel all about inspiring you to embark on adventures from home. My name is Bailey, and today we are going to go through the game Mythwind. Now I do have to say, I was sent this game by Open Owl Studios, and a big shout out to them. I'm always super appreciative of that. And as of this point, we have not played quite through a full first season yet. So after playing just a little bit of this game, we kind of realized that this is going to be hard to break down all in one video. I really wanted to give you guys my first impressions of the game overall and maybe continue to review it as we progress in the storyline. I'd like to do, this is my first impressions video, and then I'm also planning on doing one somewhere around the middle of the game once we've gotten used to the flow and we maybe played more than one or two characters. And then I am also planning on doing a third video once we've wrapped up of my opinion, what I thought of the full game. It doesn't really come to a total end. It just has an end to the storyline and you can keep playing the game. So know that going into this, but I am, oh, here it is. I should probably just get it out. Oh, that was loud. So this is Mythwind, and like I said, I'm going to be reviewing it a little differently than I do with other games just because I had a lot of opinions about it right out of the get-go, and I thought I would share them with you. So I also want to say that this is the first campaign-style game that I have ever played. So you're going to have to take my opinion with a grain of salt on that matter. So this is a first for me in more than one way, and I just wanted that to be put out there before you guys kind of hear what I have to say about it. All of this is making it sound like it's a bad opinion. I promise you it's not, and if you stick around, I'll get into it all. So I received the standard copy of Mythwind. I do believe this is the second production one just because I know in the first edition of the game, at least on their Kickstarter, they advertised a character as the woodsman, but in my copy of the game, he is the ranger now. I think that means that it's the second edition. Like I said, I am not 100% positive which copy I received. I know that there were some rulebook clarifications that came out with the second copy that they just Kickstart funded, and like I said, I'm not sure if I got those or not. So in the standard copy of Mythwind, you can play one of four characters. There is the crafter, the farmer, the merchant, and the ranger. My husband chose to play the ranger, I played the farmer, and my mother played the merchant. All of these characters have certain rankings, difficulty rankings associated with them, and that varies, like I said, between characters. The farmer is like a level 1, and the merchant is a level 4. I believe the ranger's like a level 3, so that will play into your game overall. There is also, if you bought the expansion to the game, there is also an additional character called the innkeeper that you can play. I do not have that in my copy, so I'm not going to be saying anything about it just because I don't have any experience with it. And I'm also going to hold off on my opinion on the crafter just because, again, we're fairly new to the game and I have not played that character yet either or played against it. So these characters in this game are highly asymmetric, and when I say highly, I mean like highly asymmetric. You are playing almost your unique and completely unique game from the other players throughout the gameplay. And when I say highly asymmetric, I mean that I struggle to read through a rule book and just go ahead and just straight up play a game from there. I'm not very good at that unless it's maybe a lighter game. And I typically like to pair reading the rule book with watching videos. And the videos to Mythwind, they are very good. They're very good at clarifying rules that I was a little bit confused on. But the base game video is about 30 minutes long, and then each additional character has videos that you can watch on YouTube, and each of those characters' videos can vary anywhere from 25 minutes to 45 minutes. And granted, you can watch those. I watched them on 2x speed, so it wasn't that big of a deal. The merchant is one that I believe was like 45 minutes. The farmer was the one that I played, and like I said earlier, and that one was about a 25-minute long video. Just know that going into it, highly asymmetric. So you and other players will work together in this cozy style game to clear locations for you to build new buildings as you grow your town, or to upgrade your abilities throughout the game. And there's also that storyline. It's kind of plot driven. It's got events that happen throughout the game, and then there are also adventures that you can go on that involve risk-reward decision-making sections of the game. It's very very cozy, very ethereal, magical kind of feeling. It has a lot of sprites in the game. There are characters that you're assisting, but at the same time, it is also kind of a personal game, I would almost say. There's not a ton of player interaction. You can consult with one another, but it's not a necessity. The only main thing you have to worry about is people putting their characters on certain spots, taking certain actions during a day. And then that would block you from being able to do the same on that spot. So getting to my thoughts, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a more special frame of reference for this game, just because each of the members of my group had a very different experience with it. And I think that could help you decide if this is a game for you or not. So I wanted to bring in not just my opinion, but also bring in the opinions of my mom and my husband, who also played the game. So first thing I want to say is that this is not a new to the hobby game. This is not a game that I would ever play with anyone that I just invited over for dinner and decided to throw a game on the table after. It's definitely a game that you're going to be wanting to play with the same people over and over again, or play solo, and it's definitely more advanced. I've grown up playing board games my entire life. The only games I really haven't played are campaign and RPG games, and my mom has played games her entire life, and she could not grasp this game at all. She really struggled to learn her character. Granted, she played a more difficult one, but it got to the point where she didn't really want to continue playing the game as much. She was open to it if I needed to play it more, but she didn't really want to. She just really struggled to grasp the character and what she was doing in the game. So for her, this was kind of a no game. She wasn't really super interested in it. Now, that was her opinion on the game. My husband had more of a neutral opinion on the game. He played the Ranger, like I said earlier, and he liked it okay. He tends to like games more that are directly confrontational, though. He likes to play opponents. He likes to outwit people. My mom has that same kind of mentality. She really likes outwitting her opponents. And for both of them, that element is not really in this game. And I also, how do I say this? Circling back, my husband, was neutral, leaning toward liking it, but he wasn't totally, he was like, if you want to keep playing it, we'll keep playing it, but you don't have to. I don't really have to keep playing it. He wasn't really drawn in by the theme. I tend to be the person who's a little more into the fantasy and the mythical thematic styles. So that wasn't quite a hit for him. There was still quite a bit of a learning curve with his character, and the rhythm of the game is very unlike most other games that we've played. And I really think that he would like the game more. He and I just need to delve into it and play it a little bit longer, which is why I said I wanted to do this review in a few different stages. So I want to say here that I would almost say a necessary prerequisites to this game is having played something along the lines of Stardew Valley, Fae Farm, Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, the farm simulation games that you can play on maybe the Nintendo Switch, or if you have like an Xbox or PlayStation. Having had experience playing those will help you to learn this game a lot faster, and the flow of the game will make a lot more sense to you. The whole game is a little more cohesive if you've had experience like that. My husband and my mom are non-gamers. Like, they will play board games with me. I don't even think my mom has ever touched a controller for a video game. And my husband, he plays with my kids occasionally on the Switch, but he doesn't really play a lot of video games. He definitely doesn't have experience with games that you would play solo. He only really plays those group games like Mario Kart and stuff that my kids enjoy. So they have no frame of reference for this game, and I think that made it a little more difficult for them to learn. Not impossible. I mean, you're still able to learn the game, but I have had quite a bit of experience with those games. I'm not a huge video gamer myself, but I do get into it in waves where I'll get a new game and I'll play it a lot, and then I'll just set it aside and not play it again for a really long time, video game wise. But my most recent one that I played was Fae Farm, and this one, it feels very similar to those kind of games. It is a board game version of those games, and so if you have had experience with that, it's going to help you a million times more to learn what you're doing in this game. Now, granted, I played the farmer, which is the easiest character, but the flow of the game really clicked for me. It really made sense with that frame of reference, and I personally really enjoyed the game. For me, this is my kind of game. It is cozy while still offering options for deep strategy. It is exciting without being overstimulating, and it is most of all magical. I really like the complexity of the different characters intermingled with the storyline. I think that it flows very nicely in that way. I actually think that this game really, really shines at the solo level. I almost am wanting to continue on the storyline without anyone else and just play it myself and just keep playing the farmer until I'm ready to switch to a different character, because you can do that throughout the game. You can, at the end of season, switch what character you're playing. And that is always a pro for me. When you're playing with other people, for example, with me playing the farmer, I got my turns done pretty quickly. And there's a lot of simultaneous play where you're doing this, you're working on your little board while everyone else is working on theirs in front of them. And with my character being more simple and my mom's character being more complex, I found myself sitting and waiting for her to wrap up turns quite often, just because hers took a lot longer than mine did. I would pretty much just stick my, like a dice in one spot, take an action, flip my thing over, and then, I mean, at the beginning of the game, that's really kind of it. You're done if you're the farmer. There's not a ton to do. I really felt like I spent a lot of time waiting for other players. I think that playing this solo allows for more flexibility with the time. It gives you the opportunity to really move along the story without having intermissions if you're playing an easier character, or without feeling like you're wasting everyone else's time if you're playing a more difficult one. I really like that at the end of the game, or at the end of your season or wherever you want to stop, they do have instructions at the back of a booklet on your character on how to save your game, how to put it away so that you can take it right out and continue it on. That's super nice. I don't have to have it sitting on my table all month until I'm done playing it, or however long it takes us to play. And I like that it makes it so that you don't have to go back and start the game over, which I will say, while you can go back and start the game over, I would not recommend it. We put away our game and I had to get it back out again and start it all over again. And it's just, there are some cards, like the event cards and the adventure cards, where if you have already played through even just a little bit of it, you already know the storyline and you already know maybe the rewards for making certain choices. So while it is doable to play again, it really is, and it is a game that you can play forever. It's pretty much an infinite game. Starting from the beginning, I would recommend only doing it once through, just because otherwise that story is just completely spoiled for you. Unless you're content with that and you want to play it with other people and you want to introduce them to the game and you want to see them go through the storyline. That's the only circumstance I would really recommend going right back to the beginning on. And then I was also going to say I'm going to hold off on giving Mythwind any sort of star reviews. As of right now, just I feel like I have not gotten far enough in the game to really give my full opinion on it, or to give you kind of how I'm feeling star-wise on it. Right now, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I am really enjoying the storyline. I'm really enjoying the game overall. And I'm really excited to get into it more and really dive into some of these characters and play the game more. I love the farming sections of games, so I'm super excited to just have a game that I can lay out and farm and play with. So I can't wait to get this to the table more often. And I'm, like I said, super optimistic about where it's going. So for now, that is all I'm going to say about the game. I need to play it more, but I hope that this helped you kind of decide if this is at least on an introductory level, if this is a game that you can do or not. That was kind of my goal in making this video. I don't want it to come across that I'm bashing the game at all, because I'm not. Like I said, I really like it a lot. It's totally a game that I enjoy playing. I just wanted to be able to give you guys an opinion that would allow you to know personally if this is a game that you would like to play or not. I feel like the contrast between me, my mom, and my husband really opened my eyes to the fact that this is not the game for everyone, and it does have its niche or niche. And so if you fit into that, I think this could really be a good game. It's super cozy. It's super fun. Very, I just really enjoy it. It's a really chill game. You're not there's no high stress. You don't feel like you have to get this thing done right this second or it's going to go away. There's a lot of energy in it without being over the top. And I would highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in campaign-style games who also likes games like Stardew Valley. Just know there's not a lot of confrontation, at least thus far. As far as I've played it, there's not as much confrontation in the game. So that is my first impressions of Mythwind, just having played almost like a first round. That's what we all kind of collectively thought of it. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed my video today. I hope that I have given you some worthwhile information before you go and purchase anything. I hope in some ways that this has motivated you to go buy it, because I do really like it. And I would love to find out if more people are playing it, what they thought of it. If you have an opinion on Mythwind, if you've played it further through than I have, please put it in the comments. I want to know what you thought of the game, and I want to know, I don't know, I just feel like there are so many diverse opinions on it that I would love to know what other people think as well. Yeah, that is Mythwind. If you liked what you saw today, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notifications when we upload new content. I am so excited to get this out again and to keep learning it and I'm really happy to have it as an addition in my collection. I am so grateful for all of you and for all of the support that you guys give me. Every single one of you means so much to me, and I am so appreciative of everything you do. Thank you again, and I hope to see you again here in the After Evenfall community.